Hi, here I am again. This time I'm down by the lake, down at the bottom of the garden, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Trecena of Cat. So the Trecena of Cat, I feel, is really interesting and important because it has Washiki Bats, one of the most important days of the calendar, right in the middle of it. So it's kind of like, it's almost for me sort of like the way that you might have a Semana Santa, or you might have a kind of a countdown like Advent or something like that. Only with this, it's just obviously a little bit different. So we just finished the Trecena of Bats. The last day of the Trecena of Bats, 13 Akbal, is the conception of Washiki Bats. And the first day of this Trecena, Hun Cat, is a very important day. Okay, so the Trecena of Cat is all about gathering. It's about bringing stuff together. It's about harvest in one way. It's interesting because most of the Nahuales, they have several different meanings, several different ways of being. And Cat is certainly one of these, because Cat is this net that you carry your abundance in. It's the net that the fishermen catch the fish in. It's the net that we take our avocados to the market in. It's the net that we put our oranges, everything that we're gathering together, everything that is our abundance, everything that we use goes into this net. And it's this abundance that is what we enjoy. It's what helps us to prosper. Hola, buenas tardes. And so, as we go through this Trecena, this is all about gathering. Now, this gathering, this bundling, because there's one word of way of putting it is Cat, meaning bundling. So in the long count calendar, we have a Katun, which is a period of 20 years, more or less. 20 tuns anyway. And this is a bundle of tuns. Katun, a bundle of stones, a bunch of stones put together. So Cat is all about bringing stuff together. And sometimes this can be ideas, sometimes this can be people, and of course it can be material stuff as well. Cat is very much a Nahual of merchants, and it's like the multiplication. There's something in there as well about planting, as well as harvesting. There's something in there about planting, because you go along, you plant one seed in your garden, you plant one seed in your milpa, and you get like 6,000 seeds back. So it's a time of multiplication, and this is also why it's such a good Nahual to give rise to merchants as well, because that's what they do. They multiply, right? They take one thing, they buy it, then they sell it for a higher price. So there's kind of like that part of the abundance. But you know, it's like anything else. It needs to all be balanced, and the Nahual Cat is also about understanding when to empty our net as well. You know, if you're carrying a net that you've been carrying for years, then maybe the avocados in the bottom of that net aren't any good anymore. Maybe they're rotten, maybe they just need refreshing or something like that. And so in this way, this is a time of release as much as it's a time of gathering. So it's about letting go of the stuff that you don't need anymore. And Cat, as well as being the Nahual of gathering and the Nahual of abundance, can also be seen as the Nahual of the burden. So it's like those nets when they get really heavy, when you stop moving forward, this is when you have to release something, okay? So Cat can also represent prisons. And it's normally us that imprison ourselves through our attachments to stuff, to people, to places. Sometimes really difficult to let go. So when I see the Trecena Cat coming in, especially the day one Cat, this is about beginning to gather something new. It can also be about releasing something that you're finally done with. Okay, so it's a bit like maybe turning the field over, because you can't plant the new crop if you still got too much of the old debris there. So you've got to release what no longer serves you in order to let the new stuff in. Same as, you know, as you, maybe when you travel or something like that, you start off and you got what you need in your backpack, and you go around places and you think, oh, I like that, and you put that in your backpack and that in your backpack and that in your backpack, and before you know it, you're carrying 22 kilos and you can hardly move. And you have to decide what to release so that both you can move forward and you can fit cool new stuff into your backpack as well. So there's a bit of both of those. So this is what we're going through as we go through the Trecena of Cat. So obviously, like I said, the day one Cat is the first day of the Trecena. The day one Cat is a day on which we might be planting our new field. We might be gathering something new. We might be starting afresh Okay, so bringing new stuff in, new stuff that we've not really seen before, not really felt before, planting new seeds, starting a new gathering, bringing new stuff together. So this could be a great day to kind of like gather a bunch of new people together, to get new ideas, new information coming through, to help you to progress on your journey. The following day is the day Toucan. Now Toucan is a really, really interesting day as well, because we have Can, wisdom, power, life force energy, Kundalini, and the number 2, which can represent lovers and relationships, and it can also represent self-sacrifice. So there's several different ways that we can see Toucan. I mean, Toucan can be a very interesting day to be with your partner, to be with your lover, to enhance each other's life force energy. But it can also be a day when you might sacrifice a bit of your own life force for the greater good. And being as Can is a great teacher, it's likely that this sacrifice might bring great wisdom to you or great understanding. Following Toucan, we go into 3 Kame. Okay, so 3 Kame. Kame is all about the ancestors, and it's all about death. It's about spiritual transformation. The number 3, I mean, I've covered all of this before in the previous videos, but you know, the number 3 is really about the inner working. It's about the home. Sometimes 3 days don't go exactly according to plan, because what we try and manifest outside is obstructed, is challenging, is difficult, is not quite as stable as we want it to be. But it's when we look inside, and when we go inside, whether it's in our home or whether in our bodies, that's where we need to focus our energy on the 3 days, or that's where the focus of the energy can be most beneficial for us. So when it comes to Kame, we're talking about ancestors, we're talking about death, we're talking about spiritual transformation. So this is kind of like a day to be looking for that transformation inside. Now, like, you might find that some inner challenges come up. It's kind of about working through stuff, processing stuff. And so 3 Kame, you might find yourself feeling like you kind of want to stay home, the 3 representing the home as well. And it's there that you find the place to transform yourself rather than looking outside for transformation. We then come to one of the most stable days within the calendar itself, the day for Kher. So, various Nawalas have attachments to various numbers, and Kher is naturally attached to the number 4. The reason for this is because Kher represents the natural world, and the natural world is where the animals live, and the animals have 4 legs, and so sort of 4 and Kher kind of go together naturally. 4 is about material stability in this world, and Kher is this beautiful nature. And as I look around me, I see all this greenery, all these trees, and we learn so much through being around these trees. We learn through so much for being in these mountains. We learn so much from the animals which are all around us. Okay, this is where we get our strength from, this natural world. Okay, so on the day for Kher, what we can see is strength and understanding that comes from Kher. We see all of that, and then combined with the number of material stability. So this is a great day to go get out in nature and use what you learn there to bring stability to your life. It's a great day to recharge your batteries, because Kher can also represent the spiritual leader. And so as such, this is where, you know, you might go with the mindset of like going and seeing what you can learn from nature. So like for Kher, get out in nature, draw on the natural energy, and really kind of like get stable from it. Okay, after 4 Kher comes 5 Anil. So Anil is this ripening, it's this beautiful golden essence. It means yellowing, and so it's the ripening that comes to our crops, these crops that we might be planting on the day Kat, putting our energy into on the day Anil. Okay, and Anil is also a beautiful yellow golden abundance day, but the number 5 again has some tricks to it. It's not as easy as we think it might be. It's a little bit unstable, it's a little bit weak, and so what the 5 is generally suggesting is work. So 5 Anil is a great day to be putting work into your projects to bring them to their maturity. Now, the future of the number 5 is a 13. Okay, so as we go through the numbers and we see this, what we can see is that 5 is always being pulled to the future because it's got this big number 13 in front of it within the Mayan cross form of astrology. But it also, for me, suggests that when we put our energy into something, when we put our work into something on 5 days, this is when the work will really be paid off by the great abundance that comes with the number 13. Okay, so this is a time to really be putting your effort and your work into your projects and your plans that you want to bring to full and abundant and golden fruition. So that's the day 5 Carnil. If you've got an artistic project, if you've got a garden project, especially because Carnil is so green fingered, it's all about the plants. So this is a great day to be getting out in your garden, putting the energy into that work, and then later on reaping the benefit, watching the benefit come in the form of a great abundant crop. After 5 Anil comes 6 Toch. Now, I love the way that the Nahuales fit together because quite often we see one representing one thing and the next representing almost like the opposite. On Canil days, these are often days when we receive. We're going to receive our bounty, we're going to receive our harvest in the future from the work that we put in on 5 Canil. Well, 6 Toch. Toch is about payment, it's about giving back, and so one we receive, the next we give back, okay? So 6 Toch, in particular, well, it's payment, it's sacrifice, and the number 6 represents this, for me it represents the material plane and the connection to the heart of the earth and the heart of the sky coming into the middle, you see. And so it's drawing on those sources in order to bring stability into the physical plane. But there's another meaning of the number 6, and that's family. So 6 Toch is a great day to be making payments to pay back what you've received from your family, to make some form of payment towards that, but also to kind of like pay off any debts that your family owes in order to bring stability into the physical form. After 6 Toch, we move into 7 Zi. This is the eve of Washakib Bats. Now, in some ways, Washakib Bats is seen as the beginning of the new ceremonial year. It's a day of initiation for the new daykeepers. And so in that way, 7 Zi is the last day of the ceremonial year. Now, Zi represents guidance. It represents the guidance in the darkness. It represents faith, it represents loyalty. It also can represent kind of like lack of faith, disloyalty, and those kind of things as well. But really, when we look at Zi in its best aspect, it's the unconditional love. And it's the unconditional love that our friends, our families, our guides show to us. They just keep guiding us through. The number 7 is this number which is at the top of the pyramid, and it can represent endings and death. And so we can see this very much as an end point. So it's kind of like the end of the guidance. Sometimes it could almost be like the death of the guide. Why does the guidance end there? Well, because the very next day is the new ceremonial year. So the guide has taken us as far as we can go, and then it's going to hand over to the new year. Okay, so on the day 7 Zi, this is a great time to give thanks for the guidance that we've received. And you know, sometimes when we see the number 7, we're standing on top of the pyramid, we've got all of this laid out in front of us. It's all up to us as to which way we choose to be guided into the next year. So it's a time to take decisions. It's a time to ask for your guidance, to show you clearly what your options are, what's open to you, which way you might go over the next ceremonial year. Then we come to Washakib Bats. Well, you know what, I'm probably going to do a special video just about Washakib Bats next week or so. Washakib Bats is the day when all of the altars will be alight. This is a day when every daykeeper, every akhnir, despite whether they make ceremonies every week or whether they're making ceremonies every day, or maybe they only make one ceremony over the course of 260 days, that one will be Washakib Bats. And I often like to go and see other people. I go and see my teacher, I go and see other groups of elders or whatever, to go and make ceremony in different places, which I'll be doing this year as well. And this is about the the joining of the old and the new together. So as we go through the calendar, we see patterns within the numbers. Several days ago, right now it would be somewhere around about 37 or 33 or something like that. But by the time we get to Washikid Bats, it would have been 40 days previous. We would have gone through the day 7 bats. 7 bats is like the finalization, the end of the weaving. 20 days before Washikid Bats, we go through 1 bats, the new weaving, the new teller that's coming in. And then we get 8 bats. Now 8 can represent 1 and the 7 put together. So this is weaving together the old pattern and the new pattern. This is the transfer of the ability to weave from the old to the new, from the elder to the initiate, because it's all about weaving. The calendar is seen as the weaving of space and time, the creation of reality. And so Washikid Bats is this, it's like the passing of the torch in one way or another, but I also see it as kind of like literally stitching together the previous cloth, which is represented by the elders or the teachers, with the new cloth, which is represented by the new initiates. So this is a great day to give thanks, to make ceremony, to give thanks for your creativity, because Bats is all about creativity, and to bring together the old and new and create something perfect, from something new from it. It's all about joining together the old and the new. After Washikid Bats, we then go to Belach 9 So 9 well, is the life path. Is the path that we walk, it's the journey that we're on, and the number 9 represents the divine feminine. It also represents life itself. So again, we go like from Washikid Bats into Belach into this day of the life path. So again, it's a very interesting and exciting day. Now 9 is actually the future of 1 cat. So you can see on 1 cat you begin to pack your bags, on 9 you take on your life path. And so this is why, as we go through this cat Trecena, we're really looking at kind of like what's coming to us, what new things we're going to put in our bag, so that we can start this new ceremonial year in the right way, so that we can choose the correct life path as we go through. So again, on Belach on 9 this is a day to be looking at your life path in this new ceremonial year. Which direction are you going to take? It's a great day for making a journey, especially when that physical journey is in coherence with your life path. After 9 comes 10 So again, another powerful day. Representing the staff of office. Representing the corn. Representing harmony in the home and leadership. It's kind of like that male authority figure within the home, the benevolent father within the home. And the number 10 representing this, representing the community coming together. And so this is all about assistance within the community. It's all about bringing harmony to your community, standing up within community leadership and working out what's right for the community, helping to bring that harmony into community. So again, 10 is a great day to be around people. It's a great day for a community meeting to work out which way collectively we're going together, and call on our resources of the benevolence within us for the bravery and strength in order to take our community in the right direction. After 10 comes 11 Ish. So Ish is the Nawal of the shrines and the altars. Ish is the Nawal of Mother Earth, and it's the mother energy. It's this compassionate, beautiful, giving energy that our Mother Earth gives to us, bringing everything into us. And here we have it with the number 11. And so number 11, again, is all over the place, okay? So this can represent a time when we might be asking for many things, we might kind of like see a need for many things, but also it gives us an opportunity to work in many ways to give back to Mother Earth. It gives us an opportunity to visit many shrines on that day. After 11-ish comes 12 Tzikin. Now, Tzikin, the bird essence, the sky essence, the essence from above, is the time of vision. Thank you, Bird. It's the time of vision coming in. It's the time to manifest that vision into the world. And the number 12 represents this bundling together, this gathering together of all of our life's experience. So 12 Tzichin is like about working on our life's vision. It's about taking all of that experience that you've had throughout your life and bringing it all together in one place in order to bring a vision, in order to bring prosperity to yourself, your community, your family, all of those things around you. And this comes from the visions that you've received in the past, and 12 Tzichin helps us to put that whole puzzle together, to see what all of those, sometimes we get these like fragmented visions. We get a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that. 12 Tzichin draws them all together to complete our unity vision, like to bring it all together. And then finally we'll go into 13 Achmach. Now 13 Achmach can be a challenging day, can be a very, very strong day. Achmach is all about forgiveness and pardon, and we get forgiveness and pardon from when we commit errors, when we're just being human. And it's our place to commit errors. That's what we do. There's no problem with it. That's what we do as humans. That's what we learn from. Well, hopefully we learn from it. Sometimes we don't, but that's the way life is. What we have to do is learn to smile and pick ourselves up and embrace that sweetness of being a human. Now the number 13 represents the spirit world and the ancestors. So 13 Achmach could be asking for pardon from your ancestors, because sometimes we didn't turn out exactly the way our ancestors planned for us. Sometimes we also may have to ask forgiveness on behalf of our ancestors. Now, we don't know what our ancestors did. Sometimes they were good people, sometimes, well, they just did what they thought was right at the time. But it's up to us to be here and repair what needs repairing, to help to mitigate the damage which might have been caused by their actions or by their words or who they were. They just did what they did, but it's up to us to change that if that's what's needed. So 13 Achmach can bring some strong lessons in how to truly embrace the sweetness of being a human. This might come from the spirit world. It might be a flash of inspiration that comes from spirit or come from an ancestor as how to bring forgiveness into your life. So that's the Trecena of Cat, wrapped up in 22 minutes or so. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again in 13 days' time.